When it comes to hypnotic techno, there is one figure, one person that we know does it really well and is mastering the genre. With the releases on Hypnos and Non-Serious, Luigi Tozzi has established himself as a go-to person for hypnotic, deep, minimalistic sound. So in this video, I want to take a look at his production, his track called Strati, released on Non-Serious, and dissect his arrangement style so we can all learn how Luigi arranged his track and how we can mimic that and maybe take the main ideas into our own productions. Okay, so let's listen to the tune, like some samples, and then I will go into the section by section and dissect the arrangement. So this is how it goes. It's fairly simple, yet in this minimalistic, simple style lies many details and a skill to arrange it that way. So let's see what's going on here. So first we hear a low end groove, kick, and some sort of like a whoop 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 whoop, some sort of like a pitch modulated rumble, I would say. Whoop whoop whoop, and there's like this background noise going on. So the way I do it, I always when I want to map the arrangement, I take the track, put it into the audio track, and then I create MIDI tracks where I just create some clips and then I write down what I hear. So this is the way you can approach dissecting the arrangement you really like to create some sort of like a deeper understanding of the arrangement and the map of the arrangement itself. Okay, so let's get back. So we hear that whoop whoop, low end groove with it whoop whoop whoop. I call it pitch mode thing. So this kind of like atmospheric effect, modulated sound works as a lead sound here, and it comes in fairly early around in the second phrase. Already starting to hear this sort of like a small percussive element, and I can hear that Luigi here the rhythm changes a bit. There is like new events, rhythm changes, makes itself more dense, changes a bit, and I can hear he uses a lot of modulation, so he gradually introduces the sound with the volume automation or maybe filter opening or filter decay opening, some sort of like a gradual evolution of the sound. At this one I can hear really shakers, really quiet, and there is automation going on. At this point I can hear additional layer of this whoop 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 pitch modulation, maybe the filter opened, or maybe there is like new FM modulation, so there are more harmonics. Hard to tell, but to my ear we hear that kind of like the background evolved a bit. The lead sound is modulating itself in its own manner, but apart from that, I hear a lot of background modulation and constantly like evolution of the rhythms and the background. Whoop, 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 whoop. It's higher pitch. Rhythm also has some modulation going on. Maybe a bit of more erosion or some distortion. You can hear the shakers. So the groove is being more present at this point. Pretty much the same loop, but with some modulation going on. Shakers grow in volume. Here on this whoop, 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 whoop. We have some panning going on. So this is the moment where we don't hear lead, but only this background element. And we come back to lead sound. And open hat, like a shakery thing, which kind of makes the whole energy rise in the track. So we had this two moments when the energy rise, like from here to here with the 16th shaker groove and percussions, and here with open hat the energy rises to its biggest level. At this point there's like modulation, wah, these things, maybe filter open or something. Again. So what's going on here is like this intersection, like there is this dialogue between those two layers. So I can hear the lead is being played, something like that, and then we have a whoa, 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 whoa. There is this modulation going on. So he makes really, like he is very cautious about not giving too much in one moment. So we hear like one element and then the other element answers with the automation. Then the lead sound comes in, the other element comes back with the automation. This is really a nice way to create this question and answer call and response thing. Here they overlapped a bit. Wow. Maybe there is another layer of this wah thing. Anyways. But maybe one, hard to tell. Okay, and at this point, beep, 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 beep. Really slowly, there is an introduction of new elements, which at this point serves as an element that brings a lot of tension. And you can bring a lot of tension by this like constantly repeated noise, and it's like kind of like alarming. I can feel a lot of tension, which works really well when we come to the breakdown and you want to introduce a bit more tension than just taking out the elements. More modulation on this wah pitch thing. Or maybe there is actually another layer. There might be another layer. Now this one fades, and I can hear that there is like at the beginning of the breakdown we only hear the bass bow, and there is like the rhythm changes, ta 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 ta. Now the rhythm is more dense, which again creates a contrast between what we had before and more tension. Still are hearing the shaker groove. The bass pulse fades. Now ta 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 ta. Some modulations. Whoa, 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 whoa. And we are having contrast now with just this pitch mode what thing going on. No shakers, no hi-hat, so it's a contrast of energy, and the contrast between this element and that one, because that moment was heavy with high-end content, and now we don't have high-end content, just the low-end groove and this wah pitch mode layer. And you can hear how rhythm modulates that da 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 da. We hear that. Now I can hear some modulation on the rhythm, like there is some maybe redux or something that changes a bit more the harmonics. Da 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 da. Wop wop wop. Again, we hear those some modulations here of this layer. Now the rhythm is more sparse, bit less events. Da 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 da, and some delays. And that's basically it. Here we had also a fade on this layer, a bit of textures, rhythm fades, so it fade in, it fade out, just low end groove, and we will hear the last layer, which kind of created the low end groove with textures. As you can see, fairly simple, not a lot of elements. Of course, I'm only guessing what's going on, and maybe there is another layer going on, or maybe some psychoacoustic events I can't pick up by my ear. But what I was, from what I was able to pick up, I could hear really smart modulations, fade in, fade out. All the layers were sounded really good, and all the rhythms within those layers kind of like enhanced each other or created some call and answer. And then it was a way of having few layers that will be modulated. So this lead sound was really interesting, modulated by some effects, and it was kind of like always morphing. And then we had this like woo 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 layer that was also kind of modulating itself, that created this additional like a secondary lead in this instance. And then we had tension element and some changes in the rhythm, and that made this minimalistic composition work really well. Okay, so I hope this was useful if you want to see how I dissect a track by other hypnosis artists called Feral. Check out this video on your left side. Till the next time, bye.